Okay, so welcome back. For those that loathe my intro, you'll be pleased to not have to withstand it right now. It is Wednesday, June 11th. Man, where did half the year go already? It just seemed like we were celebrating the beginning of 2025 a couple days ago, and already half of the year has gone by. What? It is 10:47 in the morning. 82 degrees here in Sosua. We're going to have a high of 86 degrees and a low of 75 degrees. You can calculate that to Celsius if you're from Canada, because I'm all imperial measurements now. And for the first time in a while, we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 10 future days of high 80 degree weather, mid 70s at night for a low, and nothing but pure sunshine. Now, we know what the chances of the weatherman being actually correct are slim, but that's what's going on. We got a full moon tonight, too. What time is moonrise? Moonrise is 7:59 p.m. and a 100% illumination, so full moon is on the rise. And I wanted to discuss some of the economic factors that are causing companies in the United States to consider moving to the Dominican Republic. And CNN Business had this, when did it come out? June 4th, so about a week ago. And then I've got some supplement. We're going to go through this, but I think most of the supplemental information that is coming from Grok, who's is my brain lately for researching, it just makes things so much easier. Now, I don't recommend taking Grok's information as gospel or truth or even factually correct. I would do your own research, because Grok is not perfect. And as AI grows, I use Grok more than chat GPT, but both have their roles, I suppose, unless you're asking them to make a photo of you, and then you're going to be disappointed. So, in the meantime, I have for you a selection of beach videos that we can watch for the background, for your dining and dancing pleasure, as I take a moment to discuss some of the factors that are driving the strategic immigration of business out of the U.S. and into the Dominican Republic. So, the Dominican Republic obviously has merged as a strategic nearshoring destination for the U.S., and companies seeking to diversify supply chains, reduce costs, and mitigate tariff-related challenges. This trend, driven by the country's proximity to the U.S., tax incentives, skilled workforce, and stable economic environment, is reshaping global manufacturing dynamics. So some of the reasons why the Dominican Republic? Several factors make the Dominican Republic an attractive manufacturing hub. One, as we already suggested, proximity to the U.S. Cargo vessels take just 3 days to sail from the Dominican Republic to Miami, and 5 days to New York, compared to 3 to 6 weeks to and from Asia to U.S. coasts. Plans to expand a northern port in Dominican Republic could further reduce transit time by a day, enhancing logistical efficiency. And I will put the links for some of this down below, especially the CNN article. Free zones. Dominican Republic hosts 92 free zones, housing over 850 companies, which account for 60% of its manufacturing. These zones, operational for nearly 50 years, offer significant tax exemptions, including 100% relief on income, export, local, and some import taxes on machinery and intellectual property. This can save companies millions annually. Cost competitive labor. Wages in the Dominican Republic are approximately 30% lower than in Mexico, a country already known for affordable labor. This cost advantage is a major draw for labor-intensive industries. They also have a skilled workforce and training. Free zones include technical training schools supported by government investment to prepare workers for industry needs. This ensures a steady supply of skilled labor for sectors like electronics, medical devices, and apparel. Stable economic and political environment. The Dominican Republic is 9th largest in economy in Latin America and largest in the Caribbean with a GDP of $13.6 billion in 2022. It has sustained robust growth, averaging 5.4% real GDP growth from 1992 to 2014, and achieving 7.3, 7.0 in 2024 and 2015, respectively. Political stability reinforced by the 2020 election of President Al Benadir further enhances its appeal. The president was elected for his second term, so not only is it stable, they are throwing money around. Especially in the North Coast, where the president is from. Trade dynamics. The U.S. maintains a $5.4 billion $5.4 billion trade surplus with the Dominican Republic, one of the largest globally. Until the Trump administration's 10% universal tariff in 2025, the Dominican Republic, Central America Free Trade Agreement, CAFTA-DR, facilitated duty trade free since 2024. Most imports for free zone manufacturing come from the U.S., boosting bilateral trade. Specific examples of U.S. companies relocating are as follows. Several U.S. companies across diverse sectors have established or expanded operations in the Dominican Republic, leveraging these advantages. World Emblem, the largest producer of textile patches, serving clients like the Department of Homeland Security, UPS, NHL, and Levi's, is relocating 30 to 35% of its manufacturing capacity to the Dominican Republic. In June 2025, the company broke ground on a 100,000 square foot, 9,000 square meter facility expected to open in 2026. CEO Randy Carr cited savings in the 7 figures annually, driven by tax-free zone exemptions and lower labor costs. Hanes, the apparel giant, operates manufacturing facilities in the Dominican Republic, capitalizing on the country's cost-effective labor and its proximity to U.S. markets for its clothing production. Timberland, not Timbaland, the singer, Timberland, the footwear brand, has established manufacturing operations in the Dominican Republic, benefiting from the free zones incentives and skilled workforce for its production process. Eaton Corporation, an aerospace company. Eaton leverages the Dominican Republic's free zones for manufacturing, drawn by tax benefits and logistical advantages for exporting to North America. Rockwell Automation. This IT and automation company has facilities in the Dominican Republic utilizing country's technical training programs to support its advanced manufacturing needs. Cardinal Health. A leader in medical devices, Cardinal Health operates in the Dominican Republic, where it benefits from the company's established medical device export industry. The Dominican Republic is the 3rd largest exporter of medical devices to the U.S., underscoring its sector-specific expertise. Jabil, specializing in manufacturing outsourcing for companies like Cisco and Tesla. Jabil began operations in the Dominican Republic in April of 2020. It expanded its healthcare manufacturing plant by 60,000 square feet in 2025 to meet demand for its FDA-approved over-the-counter COVID-19 PCR test. What PCR test? Oh, brother. How dated is this? Other multinationals, companies like Johnson & Johnson, Medtronic, Baxter, Tiffany, Comvatic, Edwards Life Sciences, Fresenius Kabi, and Comest Group have also established operations, particularly in medical devices, electronics, apparel, and reinforcing the Dominican Republic's role as an industrial hub. Statistics highlighting the trend. FDI, foreign direct investment in 2024 in the Dominican Republic increased by 7.1% year over year, capturing 41% of all FDI into Central America. Nearly 20% of this investment targets manufacturing, second only to tourism. Free zone impact. The 92 free zones employ a significant portion of the country's workforce and contribute to 60% of its manufacturing output. As mentioned, 850 companies operate within these zones. Export performance. The Dominican Republic is the top exporter of ostomy applications, the second largest exporter of electric switches, and the third largest exporter of medical devices to the U.S., reflecting its manufacturing prowess. Economic growth. The country's GDP grew by 4.9% in 2022, continuing its trajectory as one of Latin America's fastest growing economies over the last 50 years. This growth supports infrastructure and workforce development, critical for manufacturing. And we talked about the trade surplus, $5.4 billion US dollars. We have some challenges. Despite its appeal, the Dominican Republic faces challenges in scaling its manufacturing boom. Limited space, tariff concerns, competition with Asia, and broader implications. Excuse me. The shift to the Dominican Republic reflects a broader nearshoring trend as U.S. companies respond to geopolitical risks, high tariffs on countries like China and Mexico, and supply chain disruptions. Posts on X highlight the sentiment, noting the country's investment climate, tax incentives, and proximity as key drivers for companies seeking competitive advantages. The Dominican Republic's focus on emerging sectors such as semiconductor assembly and testing aligns with U.S. initiatives like the CHIPS Act, positioning it as a complementary manufacturing hub. The president's administration has actively promoted this through policies like the Executive Order 324-24, aiming to establish the country as a semiconductor industry destination. Excuse me. Thank goodness for the cough button. Oh, excuse me. Throat gurgle. Yeesh. In conclusion, U.S. companies like World Emblem, Haynes, Timberland, Eaton, Rockwell Automation, Cardinal Health, and Jabil are increasingly locating to the Dominican Republic, driven by its free zones, proximity to the U.S., and cost-competitive labor. And then, for further details, maybe I could just pull this up right here. Oh, this edition. Oh, no. Let's go here. But first, let's change your view so you can see completely what I'm looking at. This here. This is the article. As previewed earlier in the video, it's basically going to reinforce a lot of what we just discussed. World Emblem, manufacturing stats, and although I don't use CNN all that much for news, CNN Business isn't too bad. And it basically talks about, in summary, many of the issues that we just discussed here. So, my name is Jim Fannin. I am the host of the channel that you are watching. It could be called Jim Fannin, or The Jim Fannin Show, or Buying Dominican Republic. I've been a realtor for over 30 years in Canada, and almost 4 years here on the North Coast of the Dominican Republic, in a town called Sosua. And if you like what you see or hear, I guess he is a combination of see and hear. Seer. You can subscribe. You can donate even. I can't remember the last time I had a donation, but you could send one via PayPal. Or you could just share the content. Or if you're on YouTube, you can actually subscribe for a monthly fee. Again, I don't come out here asking for money. I'm a realtor. So if you send me business, if you send me buyers or sellers, mostly buyers, it's a buyer's game down here, I'll be more than happy to take care of you when you come to town or send you cash. Non-taxable, off the books, wire transfers are some of my happiest actions down here. There's nothing that gives me more pleasure than dropping $1,000 on somebody that helps me by sending me a buyer to the Dominican Republic. So as we say that, I leave you with a little bit more footage. Hey, there's Bob Barker. Hola. ¿Dónde está Bob Barker? Aquí. Here he is. Where is Bob Barker? Bob Barker's right here. Let's see if we get a little bit of love from the guy. Have we got some volume? Oh, I'm not plugged in today. Not plugged in to give you audio from this. And so, as I say all that, I do have an apartment down here that you're welcome to rent long-term, $550 a month. That includes high-speed internet. It's a little studio right next door to where I live. So you can do that, or you can rent it on Airbnb for $44 a night. I think I've got a 2-week special at half price right now, starting next Friday. You can check it on Airbnb. Other than that, thanks for your attention to this matter. I'm Jim Fannin. I love you. And as always, I sign out by saying peace, love, hug your neighbor, and I am out.